And low is the elemental rage. Alright, hey, it's Hans again, the Infernalistgamer, and I'm here to talk about various and assorted shit. Let's get started really simple. I promised you some talk about Minecraft and D&D way back in the text articles. That's still coming. It turns out it's really hard to stat out a diamond pick that chews through stone walls like it's nothing in D&D. That's really a major factor. So that's still coming. Hope y'all enjoyed the creeper I built for it. Here's a shadow. I got a hold of it. I've used it. I'm just starting a Tomb of Horrors campaign with 2 vampires in it, so I can speak on this with some authority. We've got Shades from the Forgotten Realms, the humans who vanished into what is now the Shadowfell for a long time and came back. Not a bad playable race. We've got the Vrloka, who are basically the creepy Romanian people who should probably be vampires when you look at them. They got that Count Dracula going on. And they're alright. I can't really complain. They get vampiric powers. It's clear they have a vampiric bloodline. But, according to their racial description, they don't choose to actually go all the way and become vampires. So you're basically playing a damn peel, a half-breed Blade. It's basically Blade. Or Vampire Hunter D, or any of 100 other freaking half-vampire characters that have come out. The vampire itself is now a class. It's an essential style class, which means you don't get a lot of choices as you go down power by power by power. The class is powerful. At least as I saw it played at level 10 tonight by 2 different people. One playing the Savage Bloodline style and one playing the Beguiling Bloodline style. Definitely worth checking out. I personally went back and rebuilt one of my Necromancers using the Wizard and Cleric rules and really liked it. There wasn't a single power I picked that didn't actually fit the whole Dark Animator concept. So the real question is, do you like the way Essentials does character classes, or do you prefer the way the player's handbook classes work? Either way, these are Essential style classes. There's 2 rebuilds. The Essentials Assassin, and the Essential... well, no, 3 technically. 3, yeah. An Essentials Warlock called the Binder, which my friend Majin referred to as basically the World of Warcraft Warlock, as you get pets. And there's also the Blackguard, which is a rebuild of the Paladin class for if you want to be evil and don't want to take the time to customize the class. Coffee. Good. Okay, so, Heroes of Shadow. It's expensive, but get it. It's good. If you have a party that plays dark and brooding 90s characters, if you have, the character who already plays an assassin and already plays a necromancer, hell, go ahead and get it for these guys. If you want just an evil party, get it. It works. It really works to help make a good evil party. Speaking of evil parties, we have had a real time over at Travis's game, which we play relatively weekly. It's pretty consistent, which is enjoyable. We've got a large crew. You've probably seen some of the other players' analysis of the gameplay. I'm the guy who plays Energon, the Warforged. And yes, if you look at the artwork and Rose's little chibi thing, he looks like Megatron from Megatron Origins, if you've paid any attention to those books. If not, go fucking read them. Pause the video, go out, buy the comics, read them, come back. Okay. Done? Good. Yeah, Energon is based on that guy. I don't want to spoiler the comic if those of you who don't follow my orders slavishly. But suffice it to say, yeah, he's an evil jerk-ass megalomaniac based on Megatron. The whole party's evil, or close to it. those that aren't evil are crazy. Those who aren't crazy are psychotic. If those aren't the same thing, they might be, to be fair. So, yeah, we've had a real time trying to make this party work. And I thought I'd spend the bulk of today's episode talking about evil parties and talking about what happens when a member of your group's character is causing trouble or stress in the group. Now, as for an evil party, I think I'd like to talk about that first. The deal with evil parties is that a lot of people use this as an excuse to work out their most confused and violent fantasies. Oh boy, do they. You get the rapists, the murderers, the serial killers, the, God, whatever you can find in the woodwork of creepy fuckers someone put stats to for the evil game. I really like to talk to people before we play an evil game and discourage them from doing that. Because you can play evil and still be an adventurer. And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to figure out sometimes. One of my favorite evil characters is Durgan Trapcracker, a dwarven rogue with a thing for... Well, he's kind of a rogue, warlord, fighter, artificer, really. Don't ask me how to do that in the character builder. I'm still figuring it out. I know that for those of you who really must know, hybrid, then there's a background that lets you multi-class into 2 different classes, multi-class into both. And you could probably get it. I'm not sure where to do the major hybriding, though. Probably Artificer Fighter, and then jumping into Rogue and Warlord. Point being, he's a bossy asshole who thinks he runs the show, and considers everyone he works with to be rookies, noobs, and such, and basically he spends the entire campaign trying to get control of everything and being the boss. Because he's old, he's experienced, and he does this a lot. Coffee. So, I'm here recording at 6 in the morning to tell you guys about not just my character. Evil is as evil does. There are people who register as evil because they're greedy, people who register because they're sadistic, people who register because they're psychotic. I like people to take evil into the personality rather than into the psychology. There's a lot to be said on this, and frankly I think it's worth an entire episode by itself, so I'm going to skip on to the next topic and come back and address this later, especially as we continue to play this game of freak show and psychotic. What happens when someone turns around in a game, such as an evil game, but not necessarily, and builds a character that is just such a freaking whack job that the rest of the characters are disturbed by their actions? Now, I've done this a couple of times myself. I've got a character who is an Earth Ganassi Stone Warden who is the son of Ogremok, the god of evil earth elementals. And so, to keep himself out of his father's control, he goes psychotic on things. Loses his damn mind at times as he becomes tainted with the power of his father, and rather than fight it, he gives into it to flush the sensation, if you will. So therefore, he'll do things like batter a corpse into goo, like what happened in Sin City. I won't tell you which scene, because that's a fucking spoiler. But yeah, he gets a little ultra-violent sometimes. And we have a member of our group who does the same thing. Specifically, a multiple personality character whose latent personality, or should I say the dominant personality, is a peaceful, quiet, calm lady who is terrified of the idea of combat and things like that, and her counterpart is a dark fey warlock who bloodies, murders, and bathes naked in the fountaining blood of her enemies. It was pretty fucked up, and frankly, there was a lot of personality clashes going on between the characters. Out of character, it wasn't so much of an issue. We were playing an evil game. It was kind of understood what was going on. But what we had to do was stop, take a vote, and decide whether we had PvP in our game or not. And we decided that in certain circumstances it applied. Then we decided what we were going to do about that character specifically. And we decided that we were going to, in character, ostracize the character and send her away. While we started a rebellion against the party's patron, who was, long story, using us as cannon fodder to murder an enemy of her society. Rauzik, if you've been watching the other reviews. Point being, the player who played that character turned around and built a new character who was introduced the next week, and is also crazy, but in a different way. It's much more raw barbarian instead of, bathing in fountains and blood and all this, which was really the issue. But the point being, if your party is going to have these wild characters, I can't stress enough that when you start a campaign, your job is not just character creation, but group creation. Your job is to create a group of people who would work together in the circumstances presented. Talk to each other. Do not just build characters in a vacuum. It is the number one thing that crashes campaigns. Take some time, build allegiances, build connections between the party. Loves, hates, rivalries, friendships. The kind of things that make the party stay together when one person or another leaves. It's referred to as the group template by the Fear the Boot cast, and I really love it, and I really recommend it. Get in there, work as a group when you build characters. This isn't just about party balance, one fighter, one defender, etc. No, this is about personalities. This is about histories and motivations. They are much more important as to whether that meshes well than whether your classes mesh well. Okay, I've ran myself ragged, so I'm going to be really quick here. Still haven't seen Thor yet. Going to have a lot to talk about when I do see it. Still waiting on Daggerdale, Skyrim, and Neverwinter. There's about to be portable self-editing maps in Minecraft. I've got an upcoming plan for a video about what our being networked together has done to our communication skills, for better or worse. It's a pretty controversial topic in the chats over at the Clan of the Fanboys. I'll be really interested to see what everyone has to say about it. Anything else? I think that's going to cover it for this morning. Yeah. Alright. So, good game, good day. Get the hell out of my room.